well, anybody who's selling a product, who has
or
a consumer
service.
base, you should prioritize retention over lead acquisition. The reason why is because people think, okay, let's do leads, let's get them in the door. But what's really going to drive your marketing is going to be how you continually keep them coming back.
Yep.
Honestly, and putting marketing strategies towards that versus all of it towards one area.
Yeah,
I didn't think I would ever do a fucking podcast. I didn't ever imagine doing that. It made me realize that my purpose is to help others reach the goals and reach their full capacity. And if I can impact somebody's life, that is bigger than money. That is bigger than anything else.
Welcome to Livestream. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Plains, with my co-host, Jeremy Applegate. And today we have a special invite, Sarah from Telemaque Creative. Welcome, Sarah.
Hey,
Thank
guys.
you for being
What's up,
here.
Sarah?
What's up?
So Sarah volunteered today to be part of our podcast in order to give us some amazing insight in marketing in 2023 and what we should be doing, what we should not be doing, and how we're going to grow our personal brand and our business brand. Thank you, Sarah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's interesting because, we just had a meeting this week and we were talking about it, and we were talking about how people really want the personal touch now, right?
Yeah.
It went away from that for a while.
Yeah.
And now it's really coming back, right?
It did. So COVID kind of sped up the digital. And we thought it was going to stay just digital, but people couldn't wait for that human connection again because COVID kind of separated us from that.
Yep.
So the events, the human experience you get, the customer service you get when you walk through a door, that greeting that you get, that's all part of marketing, is driving your messaging forward. And so what you're seeing is a lot of people wanting to have that physical connection
So
again.
you're telling me your love language is physical touch?
I think people's love language is, the global is having that,
Yeah, you're right.
that physical experience again. So that's why you're seeing a lot of festivals, a lot of tours, and people are buying into it much quicker.
Yeah, look at travel.
Yeah, they're buying into it much quicker because of the fact that people can't wait to have that experience together with someone.
Exactly.
So that's something that you're really,
So one thing that I've always been doing since I started my first dental practice, and we've discussed it all together, is I always focused on the business brand. So for me, it was Plains Dental Arts. Then I ventured out and then Winter Springs Family Dental, Nona Dental Arts, Oviedo Dental Arts. But no one knew truly who Dr. Alex Plains was. So other than being the clinical head behind the dental offices and the other doctors that work for me. So what do you think is better if you're trying to build your brand? I'm pushing all my friends to do personal branding.
Yeah, I think it's important. Some brands need it, some brands don't. There's different types of brands. And so you have to figure out, how your brand sits, how it expresses itself. For what you were building, you needed that because you're building influence. Influence was like your important, it was kind of like your driver. You wanted to build influence in other people and inspire other people. So because of that, your messaging needed to come forward, and you kind of needed to come forward too, That's not something you can express too much in services.
Gotcha.
To a certain extent, but not really. And so, especially with LifestreamU, what you're building with that needs a face. It needs, not necessarily this is the face of the brand, but this is where all the thought is coming from. This is the thought leader. This is the person. Yeah, this is the vision. I don't. It's not like a be like me type of thing. It's how can I come alongside of you to help you grow your vision out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were on our way to Tampa all together, and we spent like 30 to 45 minutes discussing it. Yeah. And you helped me realize a lot of things in that drive. So if a doctor just graduates, or he's in, like you see, I've seen students in dental school, they're in their third year of dental school. And, it makes me happy seeing doctors that are already building their personal brand.
Mm-hmm. It's good. I think it's a way to express your messaging. I keep saying that because storytelling is a huge part of marketing. And now consumers are buying into a story. What do I mean by that? For instance, we just want to give smiles to people, you know, but what's driving that, you know, telling that story and expressing it. It's not just, hey, once upon a time, not that type of style of storytelling, but it's important for people to understand who's touching my mouth, you know,
Exactly.
who's going in there, what do they look like? People want to be nosy. They want to be in there with you. And so I think it is important for doctors to do that. However, don't do it in a vain way, you know, because that's another, I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because like, introducing yourself in a vain way, and I'm just branding just a physical, but forgetting and leaving the messaging behind is not going to give you the results that you're looking for.
Correct.
You know?
So, like, for example, and I know you were going to say something, Jeremy, but
right.
for example, like, dentists have an issue that we never take down our mask when we meet patients. So all they see is your picture and your bio and your website.
Yeah.
They might see other pictures on you on Google, and if you don't have Instagram, then they can't find you there, or Facebook. So, like, it's very important for them to see you at least 20 to 30 times beforehand, so that way they start building a relationship with you. Like, all my patients know the ones that have been with me since 2014 know how many kids I have, know which one's my first practice, and they actually enjoy watching your growth.
Right.
And the journey you've been through.
Yeah, and as much as AI is in the, you know, the space of healthcare and stuff like that, people still want a human experience. So, you know, dropping that mask and giving a smile, you know, it doesn't cost you.
And it also improves your patient acceptance, your treatment acceptance, by the way.
Absolutely agree. No, I can't agree with you guys more. And I think that also it's a situation where, you know, we go back to LifestreamU and we say, you know, they want to have that personal connection with us because we've been down that road of failure. We've been down that road of challenges. We've been down that road. You know, they're not going to be believing in us, you know, without us having those failures behind us. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important value too there on that side too, on the branding side.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let me ask you guys a question. So, for example, you know, we were talking yesterday, and I know this is a little deviating out of the marketing topic, but it all correlates together. Because marketing and culture all go hand in hand together. Like, you can market and you can do this amazing marketing campaign, but at the end of the day, if they come to the practice and the energy and the culture is not there, then you have other issues, right? So we've had some practices now that, you know, we're getting them the new patients, we're getting them, you know, the flow of traffic, and at the end of the day, you know, they're so bad energy or negative that, you know, you can see it in the numbers, you can see it in the patient experience, you can see it in the Google reviews. So, Sarah, in your experience, what would you recommend for those type of issues? And I know culture and leadership is a whole different topic, and we can go for days, but what would you recommend from the outside looking in whenever you come to our dental practice?
For you guys, or just in general? Just in general,
Just
right?
in general, yeah.
I think that dental practices, where anybody who's selling a product, you know, who has
Or
a consumer
service.
base, you should prioritize retention over lead acquisition. The reason why is because people think, okay, like, you know, let's do leads, let's get them in the door. But what's really going to drive your marketing is going to be how you continually keep them coming back.
Yep.
Honestly, and putting marketing strategies towards that versus all of it towards one area.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can generate all these leads all you want. You can pay
Yeah.
for lead generation all you want, but
Yeah.
you want Mrs. Jones coming back to you for whatever she wants to. You know, it can't be a one-stop shop. I mean, one-stop shop, by they come one time, they buy something, and
Then
they
they come.
Yeah.
And
yes.
then,
So creating an atmosphere, you know, a culture that makes them feel like, I want to refer somebody, I want to come back because they understand me, you know?
Exactly. So the new patient experience needs to be top notch, but then you got to retain that new patient. Because if not, there's a syndrome called the treadmill syndrome that basically you got to constantly have new patients in your books, because if not, you know, your schedule lacks production.
Yeah.
It's just an execution thing, if I could say that word once or twice or four times. So, you know, that's right. You know, and I wonder if, and I'm just thinking out loud here, and I wonder if this is why some doctors don't value marketing so much, because they don't have confidence in their culture. And it's a situation where, I could spend, you know, 10% in marketing and drive 80 patients to my door, but is my team prepared to do that?
Not only, you just said a great thing, not only that, but your
Yeah, you did.
operations. Can
Yeah.
you handle the operations and the team can handle the flow of new patient traffic?
Yeah. I mean, we were talking yesterday about this dental group that has a high, like, rate of
Attrition.
patients coming in. Yeah, and then walking back out. That same dental group is now going backwards to, I know if you look on social media, going backwards in trying to rebrand themselves to seem and present an atmosphere and a culture of, hey, this is how we do things, because they have understood that, listen, something has to change, And so I think a lot of times when a company starts up, they focus heavy on getting people in the door and not enough time investing on what does marketing look once on the other side of the door,
Well, I think that's accountability too, because you can come up with a great marketing strategy and you can have 80 new patients walking your front door, and it's an execution thing again, but, it's accountability. Like, we can't go in and perform the new patient experience for them every single time.
No, you can't.
Right.
And we teach them how to do it, we show them how to do it, and we constantly are talking about it. But at some point, you can't always keep talking about it, because then you get into the treadmill syndrome on that side of it. Not even the patient side, but on the execution side, where you're talking about it and you can never implement any new ideas and any new processes or procedures to improve the business, because you're always on this treadmill of trying to improve the new patient experience.
You're never closing that back door.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, how do you feel about the importance of reviews? Are they still as equally as important as they were back in the late 2015, 2020, 2021? Do you feel is that important anymore?
Yes, it's very important, even now more than ever, because of AI.
Okay.
You need to hear it from the mouths of people, That's your highest level of, to be honest with you, marketing that doesn't cost a thing. A review.
Word of mouth, right?
It's still something that doesn't cost you much to get that review and to keep it going for your company. I mean, if you can get people, tell them, hey, listen, don't let them walk out the door without telling them, hey, follow us on social media. Leave us a review. We want another person.
Story.
Yeah. We want another person to have the same experience you did, and so, pass it forward. And so I think companies should focus on reviews. Now, how you go about doing the reviews, keep up with some trends, but, video, get it more in a way where it drives that messaging
Animated.
stronger. Yeah.
And testimonials are huge now. Video testimonials.
Yeah.
Video testimonials.
Yeah. Because, it's somebody, influencer marketing, is huge. And a lot of people do it through videos, and they make a lot of money.
Let me ask you a question that just came up. Can you go ahead and write a review on Google and attach a video testimonial to it? Is that a possibility?
I'm not sure that's something that you can do as of right now.
Yes, that would be great.
On Google, but that would be great, to have a section where they can
Go ahead.
Yeah, watch videos.
I know they can do
reviews.
photos. But
yeah, they can do photos. But I haven't seen much videos.
All right, Google, you got to get on that.
Come on, Google, let's go. There's another idea.
Silicon Valley, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, but that's why it's important when you market to understand that social media is just a channel of marketing, and understanding how to use that. Use it as your live reviews, drop your client's live review while they're in the chair. Do you mind if, whatever, make sure you sign, release, all that stuff. But, get them right there before they leave the chair. It doesn't take much to just have somebody to, pass it along the channels to just make sure that it's posted on your TikTok, on your, Instagram or whatever.
That's a great point. We have patients that are like, oh my God, I love the experience here. Everything was so great. Your team is phenomenal. But the team lacks that execution of just asking for that review in that second.
Right
Why
there.
Why is
right
that?
when it happens.
I think they're just shy. I think they're worried if they hear no.
Human nature is, I want to hear good things about myself, right?
Yeah.
So when someone's very complimentary of a surgical tech or a dental assistant, I would think that I would want them to say my name. Like, they were happy with me, because when they do that, they come to us, right? And they say, you won't believe what Mrs. Smith said.
Exactly.
You won't believe what Mrs. Smith said about me.
But there's no follow through or execution behind it.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, you got to go ahead and you got to start reinventing your marketing. One of the hardest things I've ever done is personal branding. And all my friends are asking me now, before they were like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it.
What a waste.
It's
what
stupid.
A waste. Yes, it's not.
What a
It's
waste.
stupid. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But now the same people are asking me, hey, how are you doing it? Is it worth it? And are you getting your ROI back? And I'm not even focused on that. I'm just giving, the world my message so they can understand a little bit more about who I am and what I'm about.
Right. That brings to a point that I just want to make really quickly. Understanding brand authority is a long game, And so it is important that you do that, because the benefits on the back end side is going to double. It returns much quicker. It doesn't return fast, but it returns in quantity. The quantity is larger, So it's all about, you when you first started, it was kind of like, oh,
Yes.
But now you're starting to see that traction of people recognizing you, knowing who you are. You're building that authority where people understand when they can attach you to something.
That's beautiful said.
So
it's great that you brought that up, because I was just going to ask you a question. So companies like Coca-Cola, Pizza Hut, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, like how do they build that Mountain Dew owned by PepsiCo?
Right.
How do you go ahead and get that authority out there like that?
Through storytelling. I don't know if you've noticed over the past, I would say probably like before marketing back, like, in the 90s, the 80s, it was just like, hey, you need this, and that was it. That was the end of it. It's like the story, it didn't even start, It just showed you the end. Now companies are kind of revealing more on the behind the scenes, how they put the product together to build that credibility, who buys into that product, storytelling with their ads, with their marketing, their copy, that they write for on their website, on an ad, on merchandise, on promo. So right now you're seeing companies like Mountain Dew, Ritz-Carlton, you have a Nike,
Nike.
who's really driving the message through other people. So not necessarily a face of the brand, but through the people's experience telling that story for the brand.
And you brought up a good point about transparency, because like if you go to a lot of the high-end restaurants now, what is the first thing they do? They have an open kitchen concept.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Transparency. I'm telling you right now. And this is why with AI, people, when they're, coupling it with marketing, don't be afraid to let, your consumers know, hey, we do use AI. It is a facet of marketing for us. However, because when you tend to hide it, it seems like you're hiding something,
Correct.
But to show, clients, hey, we are embracing this. It's helping. This is why we're using it. For instance, what you use, saying, hey, over the years, this is how we've done things, but now we care about precision. We care about, finding what is going on with you, and making sure that we can provide you with the best care. So these are how the things are moving in 2023, going into 2024 for companies. So if you're a business out there, don't forget the physical, aspect of your business, and the great marketing plan is incorporating physical and digital opportunities for your consumers to connect with your business.
How do you join your brand, your product, and your service, and you as the individual and the leader of the organization all together?
It's a continuous thing. I believe it's in how you provide your services. So not just your services, but how you provide it, that culture that you're talking about. If you're attaching it and bringing you into play with it, that storytelling aspect of it will rely on you or whoever, is responsible for that. But in order for the consumer to understand how it all comes together, it's consistency, it's being present, it's driving the message and being consistent with that. So it doesn't look like it's all over the place and it's not attached to one thing or an idea or a thought.
I think that's where individuals that own companies fail, because there's not consistency.
Right.
Like, how difficult was it for us to build this calendar for you, to create consistency in the branding of you as an individual? It was hard.
It was hard. It was hard.
And I think it becomes an inconvenience, but you have to be persistent, and you have to be consistent with that, because it's going to pay in the long run. Like Sarah says, it's a long end game, right?
Yeah. Some businesses are looking at like, what's everybody doing? Let's copy it. But it was never for that. Research or doing that was never doing that competitor, is not for that. It's just to see what they're doing. How can we do it differently within our messaging? Now you have people copy what I do.
Yes.
And it might not work for your business or your
That's
brand.
right.
You have to understand the messaging. Why do we even exist? Why do we even provide the services that we provide? Why does it even all matter?
Gotcha. I think a lot of the companies lose touch, the leaders lose touch with the product and the services they're providing. Andy Frisella, the CEO of First Form, even though he's not making the product and he's not servicing all his clients and all the people ordering online, but he takes so much passion in his brand and his product and his service, and he has so much direct contact, not only human contact, but he also has email contact,
Right.
phone contact,
Right.
his podcast. So he's always translating the message to the audience,
And they're
that's
hearing it
powerful.
over and over again.
And that's very powerful.
He's
It
always
is.
engaged in the current setting.
Yeah.
He's never catching up. He's always in the game with everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his main priority is a first class product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you go to his gym, my buddy David was just at his gym in Missouri. He said that it was insane, the amount of people that just go there because of how the message is so clear,
It's so
and
clear.
they feel positive at the moment they walk in, and the bathrooms are clean to the T. Like you literally go to one of his events and everybody's responsible of cleaning after themselves.
Right.
So how do you create that? And I know we got to end it real quickly, but how do you create that in your small business so people can actually follow those core
Right.
values?
Remove the blur. The blur is everything else that you're looking at to do, and not looking within your why, So taking things on the outside and trying to apply it to your business without looking at your why on the inside.
Yes, amen.
Get that clarity to remove the smoke to land the target.
Exactly.
That's what you got to do,
That's deep.
Drop the mic on that one.
Well, thank
So-
you, Sarah, for participating today with your tips and insights. I mean, check out Sarah Telemaque Creative. Thank you, Jeremy, for being here
Thanks,
today.
guys.
Dr. Alex Plains. Have a good one.
Peace.